All right, let's talk about evaluating project performance. It's so easy to get buried in spreadsheets, charts, and status reports. But really, a true evaluation is about so much more than just numbers on a page. It's about finding the story that those numbers are trying to tell us. And, that story can be pretty deceptive. A project can look fantastic on the surface. All green lights on the dashboard, everything seems to be humming along just fine. But underneath all that, there could be some serious problems just waiting to derail the entire thing. So let me ask you this. Your project is right on budget, maybe you're even a little under. Does that automatically mean it's a success? I mean, if you're only looking at that one metric, you might pat yourself on the back. But that's exactly how we get into big trouble. This right here, this quote just captures the whole dilemma perfectly. Look, spending $8,000 is fantastic news if you've actually gotten $10,000 worth of work done. But it's terrible, terrible news if you've only accomplished $4,000 worth. See? The number itself, that 8 grand, it tells you almost nothing without the context. And that really brings us to the heart of the matter, which is the huge difference between just having data and having actual insight. It's a difference between knowing a fact and understanding what that fact really means for your project. So think about it like this. On one side, you've got measurement. It's kind of passive. It just answers the question, okay, what happened? That's your raw data. But on the other side, you've got evaluation, and this is active. It's all about making decisions. It asks the real question, so what? What does this actually mean? It's like a doctor, right? Measuring your temperature, that's just data, a number. But evaluating that fever along with your other symptoms to figure out what's wrong, that's insight. That's what leads to a plan. So the bottom line is this. Evaluation is a decision-oriented process. Its whole purpose, its entire reason for being, is to interpret that data so you can understand what's coming down the pike and, most importantly, decide what you're going to do about it. If your evaluation doesn't lead to some kind of action, well, it was just a waste of time. So why do we even bother with all this? Well, because developing a real evaluation mindset is one of the most powerful things you can do to protect your project, your stakeholders, and honestly, your own reputation. Let's just run through these real quick. Evaluation lets you know where you truly stand, not just where you hope you are. It means you can give stakeholders real, fact-based insights, not just gut feelings. This helps you make decisions at the right time, cut down on risk before it snowballs into a huge problem, and protect the actual value the project is supposed to deliver. And of course, it's all about good governance and accountability. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. So now let's get practical and talk about the how. The best way to do this is with a really simple, repeatable 4-step cycle. And this cycle is so important because evaluation isn't something you just do once and forget about. No way. It's a continuous loop. You collect info, you analyze it, you figure out the impact, and then you use all that to make smart decisions, which then kicks off the whole cycle again. It's a rhythm, and it's what keeps your project healthy and on track. All right, let's break it down. Step 1 is all about collection. This is your raw material, your status updates, your progress reports, feedback from the team. And the key words here are reliable and timely. Because, garbage in, garbage out. If your inputs are bad, your evaluation is going to be useless. Then comes step 2, analyze and interpret. This is where the magic happens. You're comparing what actually happened to what you expected to happen. You're looking for trends, for those little early warning signs. This is where you, as the project manager, really add your value, turning all those raw numbers into a story that makes sense. Now, with that story in hand, you move to step 3, assess the impact. And this step is all about asking one simple but incredibly powerful question. So what? So what does this delay mean for our deadline? So what does this budget variance mean for our stakeholders? This question is the bridge between the data and the real-world consequences. And finally, that brings us to step 4, the whole point of the exercise, inform decisions. You use your evaluation to maybe adjust the plan, take corrective action, or escalate an issue. Because if all that work doesn't lead to a decision, if nothing changes, then the whole process was incomplete. The decision is the payoff. Now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds great for a big waterfall-style project. But what about my agile team? We move way too fast for this. Well, the great news is, these principles, they're totally universal. It doesn't matter if your approach is predictive, agile, or some kind of hybrid. The goal is always, always the same: informed decision-making. Sure, the tactics might look different. Maybe it's a formal monthly review, or maybe it's a quick chat in a daily stand-up. But that core idea of using performance info to make smart choices, that's constant. It's a fundamental skill, not just some rule for a specific methodology. So let's end on this thought. Every single day, your project's data is telling you a story. It's a story about your progress, about your risks, and about your opportunities. The real question isn't just about hearing that story anymore. It's about truly understanding it, interpreting it, and then having the courage to act on it. So, are you ready to make the right decision?